Hello everyone, and welcome back to Caverns of the Snow Witch. When we last left off, we just arrived at the cave entrance of the healer, the residence of the healer, supposedly. So let's enter the cave. We're definitely not going to ignore this, and this is our objective, our goal here, to come here. So let's go. Peering into the cave, we see that it runs deep into the side of the hill. Torches cast an eerie light inside the cave, illuminating wooden carvings and masks that are hanging on the walls. We step inside and see a robed figure sitting on the floor with its back to us. Without turning round, the mysterious person says, "I am the healer. If you have come to be healed, stand before me now." Our heart beats faster as we walk over to stand in front of him. Before us is a man who is horribly disfigured. His body is terribly twisted, but he sits there proudly, although pain registers on his face. We tell him that we have been cursed with a death spell and have come to be cured. The healer nods his head and says, "The power of death spell is difficult to destroy. I have only managed to break it once, and it wasn't easy. A ritual has to be performed which you might not survive. Still, you must try. I will help you as much as I can. First, you must place a mask of life over your face to halt the spread of the death spell. If you survive the initial battle between life and death, you will be able to face the second stage of the reversal process." The healer then takes a strange mask off the wall, carved to symbolize the sun. As we place it over our face, we feel as though our body is being torn apart. I suppose it's this mask here, right here. And we don't get to see the healer face to face, only his back, I guess. Alright, so it seems that this is going to be quite an ordeal. I guess we're ready for it. Once again, we still have our ace up our sleeve, the potion of strength. So first thing, we're going to roll one die, and we're going to lose as many stamina points. So 6 at the worst, which is fine. We'll still be at 8 points of stamina. So let's see. And though the mask slows the death spell, we still lose 4 stamina. Okay, that's fair. So we are now at 10 stamina points. Before we have to suffer any further, we are poised to suffer any further stamina points losses, I'm going to consume our potion of strength, maybe, but not yet. It's not yet needed. 10 is plenty. Let's go. We're not in any imminent danger, I'd say. The healer walks over to us and puts his hands on our forehead. He mutters some strange words and stands back, saying, "Later stages of the reversal process are also dangerous, but the danger can be reduced if you possess certain things. My help from now on will be limited, as you will have to journey to another place to break the death spell completely. Please follow me." The healer walks further into the cave, leading us to the edge of a pit. There is almost no light, and we have to strain our eyes to see the outline of the healer moving about. A log spans the pit before us, and we must cross it to reach the inner cave. It will obviously be easier to cross it if we can see where we are going. And "Do you have a candle?" asks the... Sorry. "Do you have a candle?" asks the healer. Well, we do. Remember, we just fought quite recently that man-orc, and we picked up a candle and tinderbox, so both items there needed to see in the dark. So this will come in handy. Right now we don't have any other option to choose anyway, so I guess it was worth fighting that beast, for we didn't even suffer any damage there. We light the candle and look across the pit. It is about 15 meters wide, and the log is quite narrow. The healer tells us to walk across it as soon as we are ready. Now, fortunately, we don't roll against luck. Instead, we roll against skill, which we are guaranteed to succeed. So we are skilled enough to move across this log, at least. Walking slowly and carefully, we reach the other side of the pit, much to our relief. The healer walks casually across the log as though the pit was not there. Good, he says. Now you must prepare yourself for the next stage. In order to survive, you must be totally calm. If you have a dragon's egg, I can make you a relaxing concoction. And we do possess the dragon's egg. We picked it up from the storeroom of the Snow Witch that the zombie was guarding way back, quite some time ago and quite some distance back. So I think it's the perfect time to use them. We actually picked up, I think, 4 eggs. So let's take one of them. Let's see. Yep, 4 eggs. The healer takes the egg from us and breaks off the top of the shell. He takes some powder out of a pendant hanging round his neck and pours it into the egg. After stirring it with a stick, he hands it to us, telling us to drink it. We swallow the raw egg concoction, sounds disgusting, trusting the healer's knowledge. He then tells us to walk ahead of him. That doesn't seem that anything happened, to be honest, but okay. We suddenly hear a woman howling terribly in the depths of the cave. Her mournful wail rises to a horrible, bitter scream. The healer whispers to us that the cries come from a banshee, a hideous spectre whose face and hands are shriveled, and who only has one large nostril and a single tooth. And yes, here she is. Quite a disturbing sight, I would say. She doesn't seem that powerful or strong, but she definitely looks creepy. He tells us, the healer tells us, that if we walk by her without fear, we will come to no harm. Do not speak to her, touch her, or even acknowledge her presence. She cannot harm you if you obey my instruction. I will be right behind you, but do not worry about me, the healer says calmly. We walk further into the cave until the dreaded banshee comes into view. She looks even worse than the healer's description, with her red-rimmed eyes and stooping posture. We try to remain calm, but feel the blood racing through our veins. She stands immediately in front of us as we try to walk by, letting out the most doom-laden howl we have ever heard in our life. We are tempted to look into her face and cut her down with our sword. I don't see her eye being red-rimmed, nor that she's particularly stooped, to be perfectly honest. But she's a sight to behold, that's for sure, and so we should ignore her. Well, once again, we don't have a choice. We have drunk the dragon eggs concoction, so let's see if it works out. We instinctively clutch the hilt of our sword as the healer's words of warning echo through our mind. And now we need to roll against skill once again, and our skill is at 12, so we are guaranteed to succeed. Between her screams, the banshee tells us that we are going to die. However, the healer's concoction enables us to resist the temptation and to draw our sword to silence her. We managed to pass by her unharmed. Alright, so it seems that we have managed to avoid an encounter with her, with the banshee thoroughly. So she didn't harm us, we didn't harm her, we didn't use up anything, really. No luck points lost, no nothing. Let's proceed. The healer is right behind us, urging us to hurry through the cave. We walk on in silence until we see sunlight streaming through a crack at the end of the cave. We see that the crack is just wide enough for us to squeeze through, and we ask the healer, what will happen next? He calmly replies, this is as far as I go. The final part of your ordeal you must face alone. Wearing your mask, you must be at the summit of Firetop Mountain before dawn to watch the sunrise. You must sit cross-legged, facing east. You will be totally cured the moment the first rays of sunlight come up over the horizon. If you have something made of silver, we will be able to attract the Pegasus to fly you there. And we do have silver items. We have the silver arrowheads that we picked up also quite recently from the barbarians, so we have a silver item. It seems that Pegasi are attracted to silver. And well, that's good news. So so far this healing process has been arduous, but at least not dangerous. We haven't really had to do anything. We hand the healer our silver object. He throws it through the crack and whistles loudly through his fingers. A few moments later we hear the noise of flapping wings outside and see the healer smile briefly. Tie the silver to its mane and command it to take you to Firetop Mountain, says the healer. A Pegasus will fly you anywhere for silver. This is where we say goodbye. Good luck. I hope you make it. We shake the healer's hand, thanking him over and over again. Then, waving goodbye, we squeeze through the crack into the daylight. Before us stands a magnificent beast. It looks like a white stallion, but it has wings. We tie the silver to its mane and climb onto its back. We shout our destination, and suddenly we are flying through the air, clinging on to the neck of the mighty Pegasus. And the description neglected to mention its majestic goatee as well. Quite an elegant ride, I guess, for our hopefully final quest here. It is not long before we reach the mountain and land safely on the summit, which is covered in strange red vegetation. Yes, we remember seeing them from the bottom, the foot of the hill, the mountain, way, way, way back. We jump down from the Pegasus and watch it fly off into the distance. Okay? We sit down to rest and wait for sunrise. The red leaves all around us emit a sweet smell which we find very pleasant. We feel very relaxed and suddenly have trouble keeping our eyes open, even though it is only early evening. We are unaware that we are lying on sleeping grass. Oh, great. So one final obstacle to tackle, I guess. One final hurdle on our way. That's great. We sink into a deep sleep, awesome, full of vivid and exciting dreams. Night falls and time passes by, but we cannot wake up. The moon drifts slowly across the clear night sky until dawn is only minutes away, and our death is only minutes away as well, presumably. A tiny image disturbs our dreams, but it is difficult to make out. It grows steadily larger until the flashing image fills our mind. A bird with a long beak and fine plumage is trying to fly out of a circle of flames. The healer is trying to wake us. Okay, at least the healer is a reliable fellow. If we can focus our mind and remember the name of this bird, which is the symbol of the healer's power, our dreams will end and we will be able to rouse ourselves. Well, we know that it is a phoenix. Actually, I think we even have it written down. Knowledge. Genie. Snow Witch. Wow, we learned quite a few things. Maybe it's not written there, or maybe I just don't see it. But in any case, we know this is a phoenix. We have been told by Ash directly that it's a phoenix, so let's select phoenix. The image of the bird fills our mind. While we are still asleep, we sit up and shout the word phoenix at the top of our voice. We wake up startled, wondering why it is dark. Then we realize that we have been asleep for hours and that the sun will rise at any moment. Adjusting our sun mask, we turn to face east, hardly daring to blink in case we miss the first rays of sunshine. A red glow appears on the horizon, and then we see the sun slowly creep into view, and we are cured. We are actually cured of the death spell. And that is the end of our adventure. We'll get to turn to 400. But as usual, let's take a look at our character. And since we're at the end, I'm actually going to consume our potion of strength, so we look all the better for wear. So we end with 23 stamina points, 12 skill points, and 7 luck points. That's a bit low. And unfortunately, we didn't pick up any items, or the only item we picked up, the shield, we lost immediately. That modified our skill. So we actually lost and gained skill points quite often on this adventure, which is interesting. It's quite rare. Otherwise, we're great. We didn't pick up any treasure from the Snow Witch's cavern, but We learned a whole bunch of things. We picked up a whole veritable shopping list of miscellaneous items, some of which might be quite valuable, like the gold ring, or the magic fruit must be probably valuable, silver arrowheads as well. We still hold on to the warhammer and the spear, which we carried from the fur trapper's house possessions. So even though we're not rich particularly, we're alive. We survived the encounter. We survived quite a few encounters when we've rid the world of a yeti and the snow witch, at least, and a bunch of other evil creatures as well. So I'd say we were quite a hero. And yeah, let's take a quick look at our adventure, our map. So we started out from Big Jim's Caverns, as you know, and it took us quite a while before we found the Yeti and entered the caverns of the Ice Witch, the Ice Caverns. We found the mountain elf there, and yeah, the crude kitchen was quite an important location. We picked up a lot of useful items there. We rescued the trapped dwarf. We destroyed. Well, no, we didn't destroy. We just scared off the illusionist. We destroyed the frost giant. We killed it. We truly demolished the crystal warrior. We disposed of the zombie that was guarding the snow room, and we killed the snow witch first, and then we killed her a second time as well, or her spirit rather. All right, Red, Swift, and Stub, our two faithful companions, joined us here. They were with us for quite a long while, actually. And yeah, here's the spirit of the snow witch. And yep, we actually met the dark elf, well, kind of, sort of. We saw him die by Red Swift's sword, but I guess that's not a direct encounter. All right, we got to Stonebridge, where we said goodbye to Stub, who is presumably still alive. He didn't read that scroll, I guess, so it was only lethal to Red Swift and ourselves. And yeah, we went to the fake healer, or the herbalist rather, the lying herbalist. We finally met Ash the elf, the brother of Red Swift, who helped us quite tremendously. We actually, I don't know why it's not in black, but we actually did fight the Death Hawk. Not that it was dangerous or scary or whatever, it was quite pitiful. And we've disposed of a lot of powerful creatures, like the birdmen were strong, the crystal warrior was strong, and yeah, the barbarian and the man orc and all kinds of, even a wild-heeled man, not that it was scary. So we met the healer, we passed the banshee, and we are now on the sleeping grass, having just woken up. Let's see what our reward is. It is the beginning of a beautiful day, a day which is probably going to be the most enjoyable of our life. The spirit of the evil snow witch has been destroyed, and we are cured of her terrible curse. As we climb down the mountain, we think about the kind, unselfish healer and of our friends Red Swift and Stub. Rest in peace, Red Swift. We are suddenly eager to meet the jolly old dwarf again and set off towards Stonebridge as fast as we can, hoping that he will have returned from Darkwood Forest. Right. We have earned ourselves a welcome rest, although whether or not we will get it is another story. Okay, so I guess this is it. No treasures this time, surprisingly. I think this is like the first fantasy setting ending that did not bestow any kind of earthly wealth on us, but at the very least we've made the world a battle place, and we made some friends. One of them is still alive even, so hopefully. So let's go there and let's see if we can help them out in the siege, or maybe the siege is lifted already and then we can celebrate with them. Alright, I thank you all for joining me on this journey. This is the end. See you all next time. But before the end of the video, I'd like to say, as usual, a few words about this book itself. It is not one of my favorites, to be perfectly honest. The descriptions, the encounters are great. They're vivid. They're excellent. They're quite exciting overall, and the overall span of the book is great. It's actually quite a long one, so there are very few parallel paths, to be honest, on this book, and in this book, and there is only one that is of any significant length. The one which we didn't take because we talked to the first mountain elf that we met in the caverns. If you are cruel and kill him, then you will actually then you actually get to go the other way around, which I don't think you can win it that way. But other than that, I didn't like the main story, so we start out as some random sellsword, and for some reason we take it on ourselves to rid the world of this dangerous menace, and yeah, then it keeps moving the goalposts, which is fine, I guess. It was great in City of Thieves, but I think it was a bit too much here, you know. Your goal is to kill the Yeti. Okay, you kill the Yeti. Now kill the Snow Witch. You kill the Snow Witch. Now kill her again. You killed her again, and etc. etc. And so it's like always it's like a bunch of mini adventures in itself, and the overarching plot is I don't feel it, to be honest. The great part is the companions. So that's something rather unique. I still prefer the barbarian we had in Death Trap Dungeon. That was more exciting, but it's well done here as well. A lot of the encounters, or a lot of the successful paths through encounters require you to have found some specific items, so you cannot win this game if you don't go on a very specific route, and that's kind of sad. It also has some weird stuff, like for instance, if you have found an item, the elfin boots, then you actually get to not fight the barbarian, which makes sense, but the barbarian contains items which are helpful, so it's like you cannot even choose to wake him up and fight him head on. And the same with the warhammer. Actually, if we hadn't picked up the warhammer and the spear, then we could have disposed of the crystal warrior without a battle, and that's really interesting, because the warhammer is actually a negative item in this sense. It literally forces us to fight against it, and it's a very formidable opponent at that point. So yeah, this book has weird stuff like that. But other than that, what I really like about it is that it's very meaty, like Death Trap Dungeon. It's long and less arduous than Death Trap Dungeon, that's for sure. It also has a great difficulty level, so not as cruel and unforgiving as Death Trap Dungeon, but nowhere as easy as some of the others. So some of them are really far too easy to be truly enjoyable. So this one managed to hit that mark real well. Unfortunately, as I say, I don't find it as captivating. So the setting is none too exciting. These ice caverns, I guess after a tropical island, this was kind of the natural counterpart. And I don't understand really the overall plot. Like, why are we doing all these things? Like, it seems like this guy is deciding his fate on a whim. Like, he hears something or thinks about something, and he just goes like that. No thinking involved. And yeah, and once again, you don't get to fight the real, like the main bosses, so to speak, like the Snow Witch. You never get to fight her. Even in other paths, you cannot fight her head on like that. If you don't defend yourself against the White Rat, it turns into White Dragon, and it's actually a quite a powerful opponent. So so overall, I think what they went for here was variety. So we start in like a snowy area, and then we go into this labyrinth, and then it's more it's like plains, and then to the hills. It's all kinds of environments, all kinds of enemies. Everything can be shown off. All the previous books can be connected through this one. So I see what they were aiming for it, but I think that the main storyline kind of slipped through Ian's fingers here when he was writing this book. So it's not bad at all. So I highly recommend you try it out. Actually, there is not much you haven't seen if you watch this playthrough, because, as I've said, there are very few parallel paths, and even fewer that you can take without risking, not being able to win. But other than that, it's fun. It has some really nice encounters and areas, so that's definitely a positive. And yeah, it's actually fun to return to this part of Valencia, see Stonebridge and the Firetop Mountain from other angles, right? So that's a great positive for it. Once again, it's not going to become one of my favorites. I don't think so, but I'm very happy I played through it. And if you get to pick it up, then I recommend you do so. That's it. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me for the next series as well. Bye bye.